there was a lack of financial stability, lack of emotional stability. They were isolated, socially isolated, and it just brought about fear all over.
And we all experience that kind of uncertainty and fear as young people back in our days, if I can call it that, as you're transitioning into adulthood and trying to formulate a picture of what your future might look like, and then you're thrust into this pandemic. So a whole bunch of factors that play a role in this rise in mental health issues. But Nthabiseng, if I were to talk to you about The Mending of a Broken Vessel, which is your book in which you share about your struggles with suicide. Take us through that and your journey.
My first attempt at taking my life, I was 18. And as Mastuda says, the fear. In my instance, what brought that about was the collapse of what I thought was a lifelong relationship. So imagine at the age of 18 thinking I'm in love and that is the love of my life. I'm a child, I'm not yet able to comprehend even what is the concept of love. And, for me, that marks the beginning, of an emotional roller coaster. Another attempt at the age of 24, at the collapse of a marriage, a subsequent attempt at the age of 27. So relational issues are at the core of mental wellness, be it employment space, be it how we relate at school, particularly for the young people, how we relate at school. The issues of bullying come into play, the issues of how we relate with our parents, the dynamics of lack of understanding between parental figures and children, the lack of communication, and a sort of abandonment where the young people feel, even with the existence of parents, some still feel abandoned and not understood. And that is what I personally observe. And despite the fact that, mine were mainly relational issues, I can still say that the importance, we cannot place too much emphasis on knowing yourself, filling the void of our children with some concrete substance of who they are. That comes to the fore. When there is no voice to speak to them, then their own voice rises up within them and validates them.
What a very, very powerful message indeed, and we hope to carry that throughout our conversation, which will continue very shortly. And in the meantime, we would love to hear from you as well. Please send us your voice notes on perhaps sharing some of your stories of what you have struggled with, and especially if you found those tools that have helped you to cope.